Okay, Raul, and the Supreme Court decision, take three. Good morning, folks. Um, on my previous post, I posted on how disappointed I was at the decision brought down from the Supreme Court, which was brought forth by a agency which helps with the prevention of HIV, I guess, throughout the world. They're suing for $2 billion because the Trump administration felt like they didn't deserve it or they were going through the contract. So they put a pause, a freeze on the money. They sued, and a federal judge, not surprising, from Washington, D.C., who was appointed by Biden, only been in the federal court a few months, has only been an American for a few years. He's from Canada. And just after a few months, he puts a TRO, which some of us might know as a temporary restraining order. But the Trump administration is saying no. The judge claims it's a TRO. What it is that is a injunction, which lower courts are not supposed to do, which just puts a halt to whatever the president is doing. And they don't have the power to do that, so they call it a temporary restraining order. Anyway, in the decision, Chief Justice Roberts, who was appointed by a Republican, sided, and it's not the first time, he sided with the Democrats. And what's her name? Amy Barrett, the Christian / Catholic, brought in by Trump, voted with the left also. In the minority, and then of course you got the libs, the Puerto Rican, Sotomayor, the African American, what's her name? I am so sorry, it escapes me. I was just talking about her the other day. Barrett, it sounds like, or Bennett, her last name, sorry. And then there's another one. On the Supreme Court, you still had Clarence Thomas, the Lion, Alito, a lion in his own right, Kavanaugh, and I'm missing out on one more. So, Justice Roberts wrote, okay, once a decision comes down from the Supreme Court, all right, the ones that win write out, they make a statement as to why they thought the way they thought, and they go to case laws, they might name. Then the dissent are those that have lost. And they usually choose one person to write out a dissent that they're going to put out to the public. In the decision, Roberts, it was one paragraph, yo. One single. The minute I learned it was one paragraph, I thought to myself, that's weird. A decision, any decision that goes to the Supreme Court, it's pretty big because not many make it to the Supreme Court. A lot of cases get denied. They don't even see them. Okay? So if it makes it, it's a big deal. One paragraph. And it basically went, and it started off kind of by explaining how they got there. These people sued. It went before this court. That now, Judge, the Canadian judge, his name is Amir. I think it's his last name. Alito dragged that dude, but I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, Roberts, this is how we got here. And he basically says, what we're going to do is unfreeze, have the Trump administration unfreeze the money, which means pay it out. And then we'll discuss it. Alito in the dissent was like, what do you mean, pay it and then discuss it? The money's gonna be gone, and most likely they won't pay it back. He knows that. They know that. You're like, so what do you mean we're gonna get back here? Then he goes and he dogs out the lower court. He's like, that judge wasn't supposed to do da 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 da. And in that decision, in that dissent, Robert Gobert believes that Alito wrote and kind of like signaled to the Trump administration, hey, maybe you should think about doing this. It's kind of complex. I'm not exactly sure how to explain it. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I only played one on the truck. But yeah, so I don't know what is going to become of it. There are some ways. At first, I thought it was a done deal, but I think that there might be ways around it. And the reason why I'm beginning is because in the decision, what they wrote, or the lack of what they wrote, lets me know, these judges, they're not really sure about this. I don't know why they're doing it, to be honest with you. Because like I said, what are they gonna go back to? Once they give the money, those people ain't gonna be like, okay, if we lose, we give it back. No. And the whole thing is gonna hinge on, and this is so important, this is vital, is that maybe through this, we'll fix the whole problem with the bench and the judges out of DC, where they make, like the rulings, and it freezes things that then the president or the government can't go forward because one judge is telling them stop. And I've said this before. I remember when all that started, judge shopping and all that, there was a ruling. And anyway, it was Alabama. I'm almost positive it was Alabama. Somebody in the Democrat Party went and got a judge from Washington State, from Seattle up there, made a ruling, right? That was a national injunction, which literally said his ruling was going to affect everything in America as far as that topic goes, which was, if I remember correctly, that was about abortion. I think, yeah. And Alabama came out and said, we ain't doing that, flat out. I remember I was in a truck somewhere and I thought to myself, good for you, Alabama. Yeah, they were like, we ain't doing that. Yeah, I thought to myself, good for you. So apparently the Republicans, and this must have happened when I shut off from the political thing after 2016. I'm sorry, 2020. I believe that the Republicans have made enough noise about these judges that even the judges were, apparently, to what I learned from this right now, is that they're careful as to how they label what they're doing. In this instant, the judge called it a TRO, temporary restraining order. Alito says, the judge says, that wasn't a TRO, that was an injunction. And he ain't supposed to do that because you're freezing the government from doing stuff. you know, they wanted to do this, and there's this man that's not elected saying, no, you can't, to the whole government, which is the President of the United States, basically. Anyway, guys, God bless. Take care of yourselves and be safe.